This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Detroit is the greatest! Straight up light you on fire for a Coney dog right now.
Darren McCarty comes back to Neiman in front of him. McCarty draws. McCarty in. McCarty scores! A magnificent goal! Darren McCarty!
Stafford takes, throws, end zone, Calvin, touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Motor City Sports Rant, Detroit Sports Podcast.com. I'm Vinny Stubbs. Sitting across from me is the King, Jason Jarvi. Sitting to the left of me is John, the WWF watcher, Macaroon.
It's not the WWF. WWE.
I apologize.
Get it right.
WWE.
It's not the World Wildlife Foundation.
Absolutely. I apologize.
It's the, I don't know, what does it even stand for?
World Wrestling Entertainment. Get it right, as we have it over my shoulder on the computer here.
I know, I'm having a hard time concentrating with all these guys in leotards.
It's ridiculous. They lather their bodies up with Keels in the shower, and they just like their whole body's just covered in vegetable oil. This guy's 36
right before
years
the
old.
show started. John's like, oh, Matt Hardy.
So to let everyone know, I did subscribe from The Office to the WWE Network, and I'm in love, dude. You know when you say people binge, when people say they binge watch Netflix, I've been binge watching the WWE because it's such a great thing.
You love men and tight stuff.
It's a complete archive of everything that's happened in the world of wrestling. I'm in love. And while you guys are chatting, I'll be listening intently, but watching a little bit of wrestling too.
Okay.
I bet you watched that one Combine video of the guy having his member fall out of his shorts like 10 times.
We're going to get on his ass
This
about
is
this
bad.
later. We'll get on his ass later.
I saw that once. I was like, oh my God. It's so gigantic.
Oh, my
Yes.
goodness. For those of you who don't know, we're on 7 platforms: Podomatic, Stitcher, Podbay, iTunes, FeedBurner, DetroitSportsNation.com, DetroitSportsPodcast.com. And speaking of Combine, Jason the King Jarvi, the Detroit Lions, are, as we speak right now, are at the NFL Combine. And they're also looking at a guy that is a strong safety from the Cincinnati Bengals by the name of George Iloka.
Iloka, however you want to say
James Ahedebo is probably out the door. He's 6'4", and he's had less interceptions, less tackles, but he's younger. Your thoughts on that, Jason King Jarvi?
The stats don't really bother me because I think James Ahedebo was more, he was the emotion of the team. He was the heart of the team. I felt like that's what he brought to this roster. And I felt like he dropped off after his first season. You know, he got benched towards the end of the season. And this whole season, I really feel that, what was it, Issa Abdul Qaddus? I thought he actually filled in really well for him. I kind of just assumed Ahedebo was gone this season. Going forward, and Glover Quinn, he's definitely the main guy back there. Obviously, it's a different position, but I see them kind of either Iloka, if you want to put him in there. I don't really have a huge opinion on him yet. If the Maestro Bob Quinn, if he's looking at him, then he must be good.
I don't have a problem with it. I think that the Cincinnati Bengals, their secondary and their linebacking core is just magnificent. And if this is a move by
kill people, but
right, if this is a Bob Quinn move, I have no problem with it. But if it's not a Bob Quinn, this is what I want to get your thoughts on. What do you think? Because James Ahedebo came from Baltimore initially, correct?
Yep.
So do you think Terrell Austin might have a problem with this? This is going to cause turmoil in the front office. What do you think?
No, I don't think there's any problem with this. Everything, it's always about being a business, and whatever is the best fit. I would think even Ahedebo would tell you that he's probably lost a step.
If you check the tape, you'd see that he's a step slow now. And with the younger corners and what you can build in free agency in the draft, it's time to upgrade for sure. He's gone.
He's caused 3 forced fumbles this year and an interception.
Yeah, and what did that get them? They got him to 7-9.
He wasn't the problem with the Lions this year. We all know what the problem was. The defensive line got weaker, so it exposed the secondary.
There are a lot of problems with the Lions this season.
Listen, Jarvi, you ain't got an argument there.
James Ahedebo was only one of those problems. You know, when he came to Lions, I really think he was on the downward side of his prime. You know, he was starting to get good in Baltimore, and finally, I think when we literally got him, he went over the hill on the roller coaster, and he started his decline.
He's better than Louis Delmas.
Yeah, I think a lot of people. I think John might be better than Louis Delmas.
So
He's probably healthier too.
Correct. Absolutely, I agree 100%. Also, I read an article on MLive. I want to get your thoughts on this. It was from Justin Rogers. At the Combine, the guy that stands out the most to Bob Quinn, maybe not Bob Quinn, but there's an MLive article out there. They are looking at a BYU defensive end by the name of Bronson Kafusi. What do you think?
I saw that, and how it's another BYU guy. They're not going to take him in the first round, and at this point, I'm really not looking at those guys too in depth. The guys who are going to be taken in the 4th or 5th round, because you have to get through the draft. You got to see what's there. I think what's more interesting is what they're going to do in the 1st and 2nd rounds, and who's going to be there. And that's what we kind of saw with the Combine today. I don't think you can completely judge a person on their Combine, and I definitely think it hurts some people. If anything, I think it builds some guys up. I think like you look at last year, Brashad Perriman was pretty much a no-name wide receiver from, I think, Central Florida, and I think he ran like a 4.3 or a 4.2. I think he had one of the fastest times, if not the fastest, in the 40, and it made him a first-round pick. It can help people, but I don't think it's you have to look at the tape with everything as to.
What you guys think of this year's Combine? Kind of the talk, the rumblings coming out of Indianapolis is that not really a lot of the players didn't do a whole heck of a lot. A lot of guys weren't running all that fast. Really, the big story that came out of the Combine is Kim Diche's interviews were talked about as being probably some of the worst interviewing that people have ever seen, with the fact that he admitted that he was a little bit lazy, that he took plays off, and that he admitted that there were some times where he didn't give it his all. And a lot of people are walking away going, man, some teams are scared with Kim Diche, and I think his stock's going to fall maybe out of the first round.
Well, I hope it falls to at least 16, because I'd like to I think if he were there at 16, I think the Lions really had to look at him, because he's a top 10 talent. And yeah, he had a bad interview. We have to start taking some risks. You know, we have Riley Reef, we have Laken Tomlinson, Ziggy Ansah. Ziggy Ansah is, I mean, I'm not going to complain about Ziggy Ansah.
You can't.
But we've taken all the safe guys. You know, Eric Ebron was a huge mistake. I don't really see thought process in there.
So the story of Titus Young still hasn't, like, the scar of that in terms of how terrible that story turned out hasn't, like, scarred you from taking a guy like Kim Diche. I mean, it's not like he's not talented. That's not the question. The question is he a mental case, and is he someone that's going to put forth the effort? Because remember, the Lions organization sometimes is a special situation where if it goes south pretty quickly, if they have a bad season, is this guy going to keep his mind right? So I don't know. I think taking risks, yeah, but maybe not on that guy.
Titus Young he's a very special case. I don't think you see that too often.
Right.
I don't think you see guys who their head cases in college and then they just completely go off the deep end. I mean, Titus Young is probably one of the only guys who's just completely ruined his life.
Right.
I mean, would you agree?
I agree. I don't think this organization is at the position yet to still take risks at all. Look, you got Nick Fairley, you got Mikel LaShore, you got Titus Young. Look at all three of those guys. Okay, and I'll give you an example. The Honey Badger. He was coming out of, where'd he go, to LSU? He was coming out of college. The guy was a head case. He had all these problems. And Bruce Arians, I don't know if it was him or it wasn't Hunt, they took a big gamble on him. And he's panned out, and he has caused no problems whatsoever. If he would have got drafted by the Lions, who knows what the hell would have happened? He could have had a career like Mikel LaShore. Another
but
guy
you don't know. He could have been this. He
no, you don't know
what he did.
And who's the other guy? Who's the guy that the Baltimore Ravens drafted? Jimmy
Smith.
Jimmy Smith. He was another guy. The Lions would have drafted him. Who knows? I don't think this organization is exactly where they need to be right now to take risks. So I would go the safe route.
Is it Marcus Taylor? He was a cornerback from Washington. Like, that was a guy that I think on this podcast I was like, hey, you got to look at him, because he was kicked off the team on Washington, and I think he made it to the Pro Bowl, or I think he was up there in leading the league in interceptions this year. Maybe
you guys are right. Maybe they do need to start taking risks. What the hell do I know?
I'm not saying that you're wrong, but it's if it's between taking. I can try and so let's say Nkem Diche is there at 16. And then all the other defensive tackles, they're taken. The A'Shawn Robinsons, the Jerron Reeds, all those guys are gone. So then you're left to pick between all the defensive tackles after Nkem Diche or one of the second tier offensive linemen. Are you telling me that you'd rather go with those lesser players, that you know that they're lesser players, but they're safer, over a guy who you know has the potential to be an NFL superstar, even though he has some character issues.
I don't know. I'm looking at two players. I'm looking at Ndamukong Suh right now, and I'm looking at Aaron Donald. And this has really nothing to do with it, but Ndamukong Suh is 320 pounds, and Aaron Donald is 285 pounds. And Aaron Donald is significantly, stat-wise, way better than Ndamukong Suh. So I'm in between the weight class after all the guys that you've named to me. I'm scared because of the school, but I'm going to go in between the weight, and I'm going to go with Andrew Billings from Baylor.
Where's that guy rated?
The second best defensive player.
The second best defensive tackle?
Yes.
Okay.
So the Lions, when they had all those problems under Schwartz, they had a bunch of bad guys. So now they've overcorrected, and you could argue that they got a lot of choir guys, choir boys, family-oriented kind of players. And a guy that they missed out on last year could have gotten a seventh. Lyle Collins. I looked him up and was wondering, who was the guy they could have got on the offensive line? Lyle Collins was
undrafted free agent. We could have picked him up after that, and
they didn't take the chance.
Well, we got Bob Quinn in there, so take a deep breath and then exhale and see what Bob Quinn's going to do.
I hope they find that happy medium of taking guys with talent versus taking guys maybe with risks who have some talent as well.
God,
they should have had Collins. I can't believe they passed on him. He could have been a guy that you got in the 7th round. Did you see some of the blocks that he made? Opened up holes for Darren McFadden. He was out of this world.
Yeah,
I thought he was a beast.
He also fits in a very good scheme, and Dallas had the best offensive line in the league anyway.
If I had to guess where the Lions are probably going to be going in the draft, it'd be nice to get an offensive lineman, but I don't think Conklin is going to fall to 16. I think he's probably going to be gone. I think you're probably going to be looking at a defensive lineman or a linebacker. Mm-hmm. Anything else would kind of be same old Lions. I'm not going to lie, watching Ezekiel Elliott, he had a really good 40 time, and I know that let me just hear me out.
I'll let you finish.
So I know that he's going to be a good NFL running back. Derrick Henry, I feel like he's more of a Trent Richardson type player where he's just he's not going to do anything. He definitely has the physical abilities. I mean, he did some amazing stuff at the combine, but neither of those guys, if you take them at number 1, you're mailing it in. That's same old Lions. I think some guys you want to look at, and I know I saw this on M Live as well, is there's 2 Alabama defensive tackles, A'Shawn Robinson and Jerron Reed. Robinson, he's more of a flexible defensive tackle. Mm-hmm. You can kind of move him around, kind of like what Ndamukong Suh was, where he can play inside, he can play outside. Jerron Reed is more of the guy where he's probably closer to a Haloti Ngata, where he's truly a nose tackle, and that's where he stays. And on one guy that I'm interested in, and I know that a lot of people are really down on him right now, is Reggie Ragland, and he's another Alabama linebacker. I
don't even see him on this list.
He's projected to go 20th.
He's not even on here.
But Reggie Ragland, people are questioning his side-to-side speed and his attacking the ball. But as soon as I saw that the Lions released Stephen Tulloch, I immediately said they're going to go out and draft a middle linebacker. Because the guys out there right now, yeah, you could possibly go out and try and sign James Laurinaitis, who got released by the Rams. But I think they want to build from the draft. I think that's really where they want to go. If they come from, it's crazy. A player who comes from Alabama, you just know they're going to have that pedigree. They're going to have that. They're going to be pretty much NFL ready. So, I mean, I think it's probably going to be defensive line in the first round, unless some guys fall. I know I mentioned him earlier, Robert Nkemdiche. Mm-hmm. I think if he gets to 16, I mean, would you pass on him at 16?
Absolutely not. I would draft him in a heartbeat.
And I think another guy that they were talking about, today on the radio station, I know they were talking about on ESPN, Bill Polian and Todd McShay were saying that Joey Bosa's the defensive end from Ohio State, mm-hmm. who had been projected a top pick at one point, is saying that he's actually dropping down the draft. And if he were to somehow get to 16, I mean, that guy, you have to pick him up. You have to draft that guy.
I don't know about that. I don't trust
you wouldn't draft Joey Bosa?
I mean, if you stuck a gun to my balls, I mean, I'd have to pull the trigger. I would draft him.
It would have to depend on who's there. If you have the pick, if you had your luxury pick between an A'Shawn Robinson, Joey Bosa somehow falls to you, and maybe even Jack Conklin is there. It just seems ridiculous that they would all even be there. I think Joey Bosa, I think they were saying that he ran a 4.8 40, which raised some eyes.
Mhm.
But you know who else ran a 4.840? J.J. Watt.
Mhm.
And
Not bad.
it's worked out for the Texans.
Absolutely.
Um,
Did you get the mock draft with McShay and Mel Kiper?
I haven't. I mean, why?
Because I looked up. Well, I didn't get McShay's and Kuiper's, but I got this SB Nation. I know they're a credible source.
Are they saying Ezekiel Elliott?
No,
What are they
they got
saying?
Ezekiel Elliott going to the Oakland Raiders. They have the Detroit Lions at 16, selecting Sheldon Rankins, defensive tackle from Louisville.
Where does it have Ashawn Robinson or Jerron Reed before them?
Ashawn Robinson. Let me see. Joey Bosa's picked to go to number 6, Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
Hold on. a
Bosa's
second.
not falling out of the top 10, but if somehow he were to make it to 16, he's going to be the Lions pick. And
Ashawn
I would
Robinson.
be
I'm
glad
sorry.
because you have Ziggy Ansah, Joey Bosa on both sides. We'd be a sack machine.
They just have Ashawn Robinson going to the Saints at number 12. Who's the guy before that you asked?
Jerron Reed.
He's going right after the Lions to Atlanta.
So, I think everyone pretty much sees that it's likely gonna be a defensive tackle.
But what percentage chance do you give the Lions of actually making that pick at 16?
Oh my God, he
Part
said
of my-
Jerron Reed. This says Darren Lee. I'm so
Is that
sorry.
the linebacker from
Starts with a J.
Ohio
State.
State?
Yeah,
He ran like a 4.47,
Wow.
which is ridiculous.
He's picked to go. Jerron Reed from Alabama's projected to go 22 to the Houston Texans.
Okay.
That's kind of funny.
Stab
But
me.
I would say that I'm starting to lean a little bit toward thinking maybe Quinn pulls out something of a trick and maybe tries to trade down and get more picks. I think maybe not in the first round, maybe in the second round. I do see a trade coming because New England's known for stockpiling picks. The Lions, what do you think they need? They need positions. They need to upgrade at so many positions. Upgrading and getting more picks is the order of the day. So I give it 45% chance that maybe he trades out of that first round pick.
Might be onto something, but they did that last year, and you've seen the results. Jason the King Jarvi
Yeah, Laken Tomlinson.
and
That was
Manny
a-
Ramirez.
That was a horrible pick. I feel
That
like
could be argued.
you can argue
subpar.
that because wasn't
Offensive lineman.
Malcolm Brown was drafted in the he was
Right
like
after
the
him.
last pick, wasn't he?
Mhm.
Damn
Because
it.
he was drafted
Out of
by,
Texas,
by
right?
he was drafted by the Patriots. I feel like,
Mhm.
and that's a guy that we could have taken, and
Oh,
that's
boy.
Mayhew right there. Mayhew made that pick, that Tomlinson pick, which was garbage.
Smart Mayhew, I hope you rot in the lake of fire for
I
eternity.
think you need to wait maybe
Well,
one or
he's
two more
gonna be-
seasons.
He's going to be picking for the Giants, right? Isn't he helping out there? He got hired.
I
they
have
need
no
all the
idea.
help they can get, but I think they made the wrong hire.
With Tomlinson, you got to give him a couple more years. He's not a bust yet. He learned the
they're
position.
but we're reading articles on M Live in August, and he's got teammates praising him, saying he's throwing guys around. Remember when they played the Jets in Week 1 in the preseason? He's throwing guys around. I forget who the hell said it, but they said he's throwing guys around. The guy didn't make any kind of an impact whatsoever. He should be playing for the Indianapolis Colts. Just
I think
God.
if he does trade, I'd still like to see him get at least one first round pick. Trade back into like the late
20s.
the 20s, maybe even if you want to go as late as 30. I'd still like to see him get somebody in the first round. Unless he has some master plan where he just gets a ton of D tackles and a ton of offensive linemen and they all pan out, then I'll be great with that. One guy that I would like to see them, and I always seem to go for the homer picks. Last year was Jeremy Langford that I wish that the Lions would have looked at, which would have been actually better than Amir Abdullah. Because Langford is probably the new starting running back for the Chicago Bears.
Mhm.
I would really want them to look at Shalik Calhoun. And if he's there in the second round, even if they take a D tackle in the first, I want them to really take a look at Shalik Calhoun. If you want a guy who gets at the quarterback, that's a guy who does it.
Mhm.
He gets sacks. I think he could, we lost a guy in Cliff Averill
we did.
years ago. That he's now won a Super Bowl, been to multiple Super Bowls now with the Seahawks. I think Calhoun kind of mirrors that type of player. And I mean, we have one in Anza, but I think you need two edge rushers in this league now. You see what the Broncos did with DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller, getting that pressure from both sides.
Why do I have to subscribe to see what Mel Kiper's saying?
Yeah, ESPN Insider.
I'm going to punch him in the
hey,
face.
John, come on.
We're working on it.
We need the Detroit
J-
Sports Podcast.
Jason has put the order in. I think the funds are coming in soon. Great things are happening at the network. So if you can be patient up until March, I don't know if it's too late with March Madness coming around and everything in the draft, but that might be coming. That's a fair order.
Yes, great things are coming.
Yes, sir. All right, so the Lions and the draft. A lot of people are also talking real quickly about Calvin Johnson. Do you think by the time this recording comes out, a lot of people are saying maybe Tuesday, Wednesday is the day. that Calvin makes the announcement? Waiting or makes it this week?
You want me to be honest with you? And I read an article on this, and I thought about it. And I go, I don't know, but it's got to be true. He wants the Lions to cut his ass. He wants the Lions
Sherlock.
He doesn't want to retire, Jason.
No, he doesn't.
He wants to be cut.
I know the argument you're talking about is if he retires, he has to give back money. He has to doesn't he have to wait a little bit until he re-signs with the team?
I have no
he has
idea.
to file some sort of papers. And yeah, if the Lions do cut him, he doesn't have to give any money back.
He's so classy of a guy, he won't just flat out come out and say it. I feel bad for the guy, and I don't blame him for wanting to get cut. Who can blame him?
Okay, so are we still waiting by the next recording, or does he make the announcement?
He's
Still waiting.
still going to be waiting.
We're going to be waiting until, what's the deadline, March 9th?
March 9th.
You'll be waiting until March 8th at about 11:59 p.m. Okay,
Yeah,
Jason the King
I wouldn't
Jarvi.
be surprised.
We're done with the Detroit Lions for right now. Let's head over to the 9th seed Detroit Pistons. They're 31-19. The acquisition of
You gave the record.
Tobias
What's the record
Harris.
again? They're what?
31-29. What did I say, 31-19? I was thinking of the Red Wings. I'm sorry.
Thank
They're
you.
31-20-11. Okay, the Pistons, 31-19. They're the 9th seed. They're underneath the Bulls and the Hornets. Shut up! You're messing me up. They just beat Cleveland and Toronto. Justin Harper, they just picked him up from the Grand Rapids Drive. He hit 2 threes in the first quarter yesterday. I think Reggie's becoming more of a leader, and I love the acquisition of Tobias Harris. The guy's an absolute monster, and I like what Stan Van Gundy's doing. And it's a shame that Donatas Monojunas was sent back because of his back. It wasn't the physical in Marcus Thornton. I think that would have helped out the bench significantly. I still have them going either the 7th or 8th seed in the East. What is your thoughts on the Detroit
Is there
Pistons?
something that you've seen that has led you to believe that Reggie Jackson is more of a leader now?
You don't see it, and John doesn't see it. And I'm dyslexic because I just pointed at him and said your name, and then I pointed at you and said his name.
I know.
I can
And
see
you're
it.
mixing up all the
I
records.
could see it in his eyes. I could see it in his eyes. When he's taking the ball and he's dribbling, he's at half court, he's not running into the basket anymore. He's slowing down the tempo, and I see him yelling at guys on the sidelines. I see it with my own eyes. Don't quote me on it.
He's the basketball whisperer.
Are you taking a picture of me? This guy is 36 years old, and he's watching WWE
He's
Raw.
watching all the ladies on Raw now.
You make me sick
What
to
a
my
weirdo.
stomach.
I also
This
want to
guy
take a
can't
picture.
change a tire on his car, and he watches wrestling.
Can I take a picture of your prep sheet? Because I seen it. You have it right at the top. You have 31-19. There's nobody with that record. At 31-19, you said
It was
three
an
times.
accident. They're 31-29. They're 2 games under
No, I'll take a
500.
picture of it. I'll take a picture of it. That's a great
Go
prep
ahead.
sheet.
I don't care. Damn it.
What I'll say about Reggie Jackson, he may be becoming more of a leader, but I still don't think that changes that. This is still his first year as a full-time point guard, and he looks tired out there.
Stitcher.
You know, I was watching the Cleveland game, and he was running up and down the floor, and like in the timeouts, he's huffing and puffing. Like he looks like John running to his car. He looks like John now watching these ladies on Raw.
Oh my God, is that Marie girl? No, who's that redheaded chick?
I don't know.
Marie Eve? Oh my God, it would just.
Close, Eva Marie. Good.
Oh my gosh, she's the fine. She looks like the Little Mermaid, except with legs instead of
A fish body?
a fish body. My goodness gracious, my tonsils would just devour her sphincter. So I see it in his eyes. He's becoming more of a leader. I see he's more aggressive. He's attacking the paint more. He's passing the ball more. It's a shame about Monojunas and
Do you
Marcus
think
Thornton.
Reggie Jackson though can last the entire season?
Yes, I do.
So that would be my thing is, yeah, I think it's been great after that 5-game losing streak. They've really picked it up. They're on a 4-game winning streak right now. And like you said, they beat the 2 top teams in the Eastern Conference.
They're not.
And I think what's even better than that is that they've handled the 2 other inferior teams. They blew out the 76ers. Watching that game, the 76ers, they're horrible. They're like a high school team.
Watch your mouth.
I could have beaten the 76ers. They were literally just jacking up shots left and right.
They need to contract them out of the league. I don't know what the hell they're waiting for.
But I'm going to stick by my prediction that they're probably not going to make the playoffs this year.
You watch your language.
Now, I think it's a kind of a blessing. You say that it's a shame that Monojunas isn't here anymore, that the trade didn't go through. I think it's actually kind of good. You lose that first-round pick, and what if Monojunas, it's a back issue. It's not something that he's gonna just completely heal from, and he's gonna be able to come back and not feel that injury anymore.
That wasn't the issue that I had. The issue that I had, he did only average 5.6 points per game. So, I mean, he's not the second coming of Jesus, but it would have added depth. They need depth. Guys are getting winded out there. When guys get winded out there, they put guys in there like Hilliard, Bullock, and it's just not good enough. Reggie Jackson can stay healthy the rest of the season if, and only if, they put Steve Blake in there when they see that Jackson's getting winded. And Steve Blake, you need to contribute a little bit more because I see you out in the paint, and Jose Calderon's better than you, bro. Get it together.
Well, Steve Blake is white.
So was Jose Calderon.
He was Spanish or whatever.
And you know what really sucks? They could have got rid of Joel Anthony. He gets 0.7 points per game to Philadelphia. He would have been a perfect 76er, and now he's still on the Pistons.
I do kind of feel bad for the 76ers. It's funny because Joel Anthony gets traded. He goes to Houston and then goes to 76ers through them. 76ers cut one of their like fan favorite guys to make room for Joel Anthony. And then Joel Anthony doesn't come. So they wanted to re-sign this guy, but he signed a multi-year deal with the Nuggets.
Who is he?
Jakar Sampson.
I never heard of him.
Some random guy, but it was a fan favorite. They don't get many fan favorites in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. Did Spencer Dinwiddie get called back up? I seen him on the roster earlier on the website. Or is he still in Grand Rapids?
I'll check that for you guys.
You might want to go ahead and check that. Listen, the bench needs to step it up. I like Aaron Baines, and I don't hate Steve Blake. I think he's okay. I think if they would have got Marcus Thornton in there, the things would have been a little bit more on the up and up, and they could have clinched the 8th seed. But they still can. If not, they can get the 7th seed.
The reason I see that they just miss out is because even I think Thornton. You're right. Thornton would have added some scoring depth for their bench, but they just don't have enough. I think Darren Hilliard has been nice. What was it? Reggie Bullock having that career night the other night. I don't think they can keep it up. I think for them to win right now, they need everybody to be hitting. They need Tobias Harris. They need Reggie Jackson. They need Andre Drummond. They need Marcus Morris to all be in double figures for them to have any shot at beating teams. And I don't see them keeping that up the rest of the season.
You know what sucks? Their next game at
Spurs.
Yep, 28-0 at home. But then they got to beat the Knicks in New York, and then they got to beat the Trailblazers in Detroit. They can do this.
Here's a Dinwiddie update. He was recalled on February 9th from the D-League, but he's been dealing with a bone bruise. They're not rushing him back.
I heard that he was going to stay.
And it doesn't help that Stanley Johnson is hurt either.
He's hurt too. See, God, what's wrong with him?
He's got the shoulder problem.
He'll be fine. All right, before we go to the break, and bust his balls about watching Raw, what do you think about Tobias Harris? Dude, are you excited? Come on.
I do like Tobias Harris. We talked about him during the during the offseason.
Remember we brought it up?
We did. We said Tobias Harris is going to be
You brought it up.
I know.
You should be commended for that.
Thank you. Give me some claps. Give me a drop or something.
I didn't even know who Tobias Harris was. He brought it up. We got your attention about it. We talked about it. And then we thought that we were going to get Ryan Anderson from the New Orleans Pelicans. And I was excited about that, even though I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. Tobias Harris is an absolute savage, and I love it.
That's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
Jarvi knows what's up.
Jarvi knows a lot about the Detroit Pistons, man. The guy is killing it. When we come back, king of the mic, the Detroit Red Wings, and we're going to bust balls about John the Phone Macaroon, about him watching
he is Joan.
WWE Raw, Motor City Sports Rant, Detroit Sports Podcast.com.
Doc here for FanaticU.com, Detroit Sports official outfitter and the official outfitter of the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. Go visit FanaticU.com for all your online shopping needs. If you're a fan of the Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons, if you're a fan of Michigan State, on their way probably to another Final Four, go check out FanaticU.com. They got great gear. They're a strong supporter of our podcast, one of the early sponsors, and we show a lot of love for those who support us. FanaticU.com, Detroit Sports official outfitter. And now back to Jarvi and Stubbs on the Motor City Sports Rant on the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Motor City Sports Rant, DetroitSportsPodcast.com. Jason the King Jarvi, the Detroit Red Wings. I got their record right. Shut your mouth, John. The Detroit Red Wings,
31-19.
31-20 and 11th, fourth in the Atlantic.
Are we doing something?
Oh my goodness, Gridge. We have a new segment. And
segment?
Absolutely.
Oh, this is crazy.
We did this.
Now,
Jason the King
I want some
Jarvi.
credit. Give me the credit for coming up with a great
give you
name.
The credit.
Give me some credit.
You just threw this out there, and I was like, okay, let's do that.
You like the idea? You don't have to like what I say. I know I'm the podfather of the network, but...
You shut your mouth. Don't even call yourself that anymore.
All right, this is what we're going to call King of the Mic, because Jarvi is the king, and we know he brings strong opinions, in what we call King of the Mic.
Oh my goodness, we don't have any sponsors, but we are close. I have 3 lined up. King of the Mic, Podomatic, Stitcher, Podbay, iTunes, Feedburner, DetroitSportsNation.com.
Sponsored by Brazzers? Are you working on that?
Brazzers.com, DetroitSportsPodcast.com. King of the Mic, Jason the King Jarvi. Question number 1.
Yes.
The Detroit Red Wings made absolutely 0 moves at the deadline. Your thoughts?
I'm actually kind of agreeing with this. Ken Holland came out. He said that there really wasn't a fit out there. And I tend to agree. I think if you're going to make a move this year, you would have had to give up a lot of prospects.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking like your Anthony Manthas, your Athanasius. You probably even look at giving away one of your guys who's up here in the big league, Tater, Nyquist, one of those guys. You know, right now, we're currently 7th in the East. And barring a collapse, I still think that they're going to be in the playoffs. But if they're going to make a trade, they're going to make a trade to get that guy to put them over the top. The only trade that I saw that went through that I would have liked the Wings to kind of participate in, the Oilers traded their defenseman Justin Schultz for, I think, like a 2nd or 3rd rounder.
Would have been nice.
Which, you know, right now, defenseman isn't the biggest need, because I think the biggest need that the Wings need is goal scoring. Because right now, your big guys, Gustav Nyquist, Thomas Tatar, Pavel Datsyuk, those guys, they're not getting it done every night. You need a proven goal scorer who can come out and get you 40 goals in a season.
I agree 100%. What'd you think about Kendall going to Florida?
I don't care. Jakob Kindle.
That's
goodbye.
That's like the best answer I've ever heard in my life. Question number 2. I know you're a Sparty. I know John's a Sparty, and I'm not. How far can the MSU Spartans go in the tournament? Jason the King Jarvi.
They can really go as far as they want. Nothing really will surprise me. I wouldn't be surprised if they made it back to the Final Four again, but then again, I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow slipped up in the Sweet 16. Currently, they're back up to number 2 in the AP poll, 24-5 in the 2nd in the Big Ten. They went undefeated through non-conference play, which I think it's very hard to do. And their only losses, so they got blown out by Iowa both times that they played them. Their 3 other losses, do you know how many points they lost by combined?
I have no idea.
In those 3 losses,
You're the
they
Red
lost
Wings aficionado.
They lost by a combined 3 points in those 3 games. So they lost by 1 every single time. They can pretty much, I wouldn't be surprised if they won the national championship this year.
Wow.
It's crazy, and this is going to be my big prediction. If they go out, because I think they have 2 games left, and then the Big Ten tournament. If they go out and they actually win the Big Ten tournament, they're going to win the championship.
John, what do you think about that? It doesn't matter because it's King of the Mic.
I do kind of want to see, what do you feel about that, John?
I'm trying to shut him.
No, about Michigan State and how far they're going to go?
He's watching wrestling.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I like Michigan State and what they've been doing. I think they're going to peak at the right time. I'm a little bit into Kentucky right now. I like what they've been doing lately.
You would.
I'm seeing a team that not like in the past had all the elite talent, but a team that's coming into their own. Right now, I have Michigan State probably, if I were to make a bracket today, in the Elite 8, not in the Final Four. I just think that sometimes, it really also depends on their seeding. If they can get a number 1 seed and that region is set up for them nicely, then they do have a shot. But really, in the end, if Valentine and Forbes can keep up this hot shooting, and then the wild card, Costello, dude's been balling straight up. And if he can continue that progress that we've seen now his senior year, then we got a chance to make that final push. And maybe this might have a feel of a team that could do some damage, but I got him right now, as we're recording, Elite 8.
Yeah, and also if Tum Tum can come back and provide some scoring, because Valentine, he's like a shooting star. He's gonna burn out at some point, I feel like, and it's probably not going to be until the tournament. Right now, I checked the current bracketology, kind of where they were predicting people, and they have Michigan State as a number 2 seed. I think if they at least get to the Big Ten championship, whether they win or not, I think that might propel them into a number 1 seed. Because right now, I think it's all kind of up in the air. Kansas, definitely, they're probably vying for number 1 overall. in Kansas, Villanova, North Carolina, Xavier, Virginia, all those guys are probably looking for that number 1 spot. I think Michigan State probably gets number 2.
Okay.
Vinny, do you have anything?
I think that you guys have the best basketball program in all of college, to be honest with you. And I think you guys are both right.
I do. I'm a fan of Tom Izzo's $5.
The guy is absolutely a genius.
It's $6 foot long.
He is the Bill Belichick of college basketball. Question number 3. Your thoughts on the Detroit Tigers so far in spring training?
Oh, it's pretty much just started.
It did?
John, thank you for throwing this in there.
Dude, what is this Gear VR thing? That scares the living hell out of me. That doesn't scare you
I don't know
guys?
what you're talking about.
Pretty soon, that thing that you put over your head with your smartphone in it, John's going to be walking around with those in a couple weeks.
And he's going to be
Mark my
watching
words.
Raw.
He should be watching
But
something else.
we'll get to that in a second.
Right.
The Tigers right now, they just won their game against Florida Southern College. The Moccasins 7-2 off a Jacoby Jones 3-1 home run.
Was it 7-2?
Yeah, 7-2 off a guy who's not going to be playing for 38 games because he suspended. But I think the two big questions right now for the Tigers are Anibal Sanchez and Alex Wilson. We talked about it last year. Can he stay healthy for an entire year? Last year he didn't. And that's going to be the question again, is can he actually provide being a stable number 3? Because right now, it's Justin Verlander number 1.
Zimmerman.
They brought in Zimmerman for being number 2. I think Daniel Norris could even be a number 3. So all we really need from Sanchez is to be a reliable number 4 pitcher at this point.
Let me help you out. 2013, 14-8, 2.57 ERA. 2014,
You always go with the stats.
8-5, 3.43 ERA. 2015, Jason the King Jarvi, 10-10, ERA just south of 5 at 4.99. He's got to get it together.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get it together. And Alex Wilson, I think, he's another big question mark because he's a big part of that bullpen. He ate up a lot of innings last year when our starting pitching was struggling. Right now he's dealing with some shoulder soreness, which he's saying that it's not really that big of a deal. He's just he said he pushed himself a little too hard at the beginning of spring training, that just a couple days off, he should be fine, good to go. But he's definitely going to be a big part of what we want to do this season. We have a revamped bullpen. We have, who's all the guys? I know we have Francisco Rodriguez, we have Alex Wilson, still have Bruce Rondon, right? Who are the other guys? Come on, guys.
Michael Fulmer from the Mets.
Justin Wilson is a key addition.
Another Alex Wilson, too.
Alex Wilson, we already mentioned him. Yeah.
Ian Kroll went to the Braves. We have Blaine Hardy. And we have, Albuquerque went to the Angels.
From the Mets.
And you might
That's Fulmer.
you might use Shane Green or Fulmer in that bullpen too.
Shane Green is a disaster. He belongs in that bullpen. He's a projected starter.
No,
I just looked at the depth chart today.
Another guy that I actually saw some stuff on of a possible bullpen addition, Tim Lincecum.
Oh my God, I love it. Why the hell wouldn't you not pull the trigger on that? Take it.
I think a lot of people are going to be looking at him though, because he's having an upcoming tryout really to just show scouts what he has. I would love to get Tim Lincecum. He's been a National League pitcher his entire life. I think what he brings to the table would be amazing. And I think what Al Avila and Mr. Illich has been trying to do for this organization is they really are trying to
establish a bullpen.
They're trying to get back to the playoffs this year. We were all wondering is if it's going to be a complete rebuild. Right. And with who they went out and signed this year, I don't think they're not going for a rebuild. They're going for trying to get to the World Series again.
You're a ball sucker, John. I agree with you.
Another guy for the Tigers, though, I want to see James McCann. I want to see him take the next step. I read an article that with McCann and Jared Saltalamacchia.
Why is Holiday over Jared Saltalamacchia on the depth chart?
I think Saltalamacchia, he's number 2, isn't he?
It says Holiday on the depth chart.
I think those two they probably are going to be the starters, but they're two of the worst defensive catchers.
I like them in Texas. I did not look this on the computer, and I'm not cutting you off. Shane Green, Boyd. Is it Matt Boyd?
Yes.
Jose Valdez, and Verhagen. Those are the other guys in the bullpen.
Good job.
Eat my testicles. I did not look that up.
Good for you, Jack. We talked a little bit about it. Do you feel confident in Tiger starters?
Absolutely not. Justin Verlander looked really good at the second half of the season. I thought they should have traded him. I don't trust Anibal Sanchez. He gets hurt every single year. His damn arm needs to be replaced with like Jax from Mortal Kombat, his arm. And Jordan Zimmerman, the sky's the limit. I hope that the guy can get at least 15 wins. I like Danny Norris, but I don't know if he's going to be a bullpen guy or a starter.
Daniel.
I'm glad they got rid of Alfredo Simone. And who's the other guy that I'm thinking of? Damn it. I need one more. There's Verlander, Zimmerman, Sanchez.
Oh, Pelfrey?
Michael Pelfrey is going to be a disaster.
He's going to be number 5. And what do we really need? If he could give us what Anibal Sanchez gave us last year,
10 and 10,
I'd be fine with that as a number 5.
5?
As a 5th starter.
Oh, God. And that was King of the Mic. And congratulations, Jarvi, on that new segment.
Thank you. I needed some congratulations. I appreciate it.
You're an absolute genius.
Thank you, Doc, for creating another great segment on
John
the network.
Cena he's amazing over there. Now you see me.
I can't believe you're watching wrestling. I'm about to pull the cord.
That other guy is flabby.
All right. What'd you think about the game at Coors Field? I loved it.
It didn't really do a whole lot for me.
It was great. They should do it every year.
So did you watch any of the alumni game?
I watched the third period.
I thought that the alumni game was going to be amazing, but they had a lot of wing scrubs on their team.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you trot out Boyd Devereaux and Stacy Roost, I don't want to see those guys.
Is it about the alumni game? What about Manny Legacy?
Man, they couldn't get Chris Osgood. Yeah, I get it. He had a hernia surgery, but Manny Legacy and Ty Conklin. It was garbage, and it was really cool to see Steve Yzerman score a goal.
That was awesome.
Stevie Y, I mean, he's right up there with Barry Sanders for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it really put me off. I don't know, John, did you watch the beginning? Did you watch that game?
I did not. I actually was going to just focus on the real game that counted for 2 points. I didn't buy into the hype. I knew they weren't going to fight. I knew everyone was like, listen, I've heard stories of guys, they flew back. They played in the Olympics together. This Detroit-Colorado thing, these guys are in their 50s. If they're still going to brawl out there in an alumni game, something's wrong. I didn't buy into the hype. I knew it's just going to be for fun, so I didn't watch that.
You know, what really put me off on the alumni game was they had this opening montage that was put together by the NHL that was just extremely
biased.
Pro-Colorado.
Everyone was tweeting about it.
It was everything. All it was like montages of Sakic and Forsberg scoring on the wings.
Disgusting.
It brought me back. I remember when I started at the radio station, one of the first things I had to do is they had me get a montage of Braylon Edwards in the Braylon game and getting all those touchdowns. And I remember watching all those, getting all that sound, and it just making me furious. And watching these highlights, and every single time Patrick Waugh would make that save, and he'd bring his trapper up. It pissed me off.
It pissed me off too.
And it was like the Wings didn't even do anything. They didn't show any of McCarty and Lemieux. Everything was pro-Colorado, and it pissed me off.
I'm actually happy. A lot of people were saying the alumni game was going to be better than the real game. The real game lived up to it. I got to watch it on a date night with my wife. I watched the Pistons destroy Milwaukee. That was a great game, and they had the 2 TVs back to back. And I got a chance to watch the Stadium Series game. It was a great game.
That was awesome.
It was fun to watch.
It was cool. I turned it on in the third period when it was still. I think we were down by 1 at the time. I mean, was it just me, or did every single Wings goal in the third period? You were just like, oh, hey, they scored.
And then we were like, oh, hold on. Don't let Colorado come back. It seemed like Colorado was responding rather quickly to all the goals. And for Brad Richards, clap for him, man. That was a nice goal to get that victory.
Yeah, and in the end, it was just a regular season game.
Try it out. All right, listen. They finally won a shootout against Columbus, right? And I was like, I put on Twitter when they lost to Columbus, I'm like, do they ever win in shootouts? I went to a place called Champions in Brownstown. You got to check it out and try to get them as one of our sponsors. I was watching Red Wings game with this girl. I bought her a shot. It was a Cinnamon Toast Crunch shot. Those white ones. It was like $5, dude. It was like a teaspoon of a shot. I'm like, I'm in with this chick. I'm like, yeah. I was really into the Red Wings game too. And I bought her a shot. I thought I was in. They lost a shootout to Ottawa. And I was like, damn it. And I jumped up and I spilled my little bat all over her, dude. And it was a total nightmare. And I was so depressed. Yeah, it failed. She walked away from me and went to go dance with some other guy. It was a travesty. But besides that game, I don't know what you guys are on.
Maybe she wanted to dance, and you're not a dancer. Do you dance, Vinny?
I tried Saturday, and I failed. And
what's your go-to move?
What do you mean?
Do you have
dance?
a go-to move?
I grab their hips, and I just go I sway back and forth, and then I try to do the robot, and I fail, and then that's just it. And then they just walk away from me like, I had a great night. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Do you know these guys called me earlier to do, they called me on their show on Doc and Jock. You can hear them every, what is it?
Every Thursday?
Every Thursday, and they want me to do the weather for them. Well, I was driving down M5. Well, no, it was a total disaster how they called me, and they want me to do the...
I called Vinny and said, hey, I know it's snowing, it's Snowmageddon out there. What would your weather report be like? Because he said he was driving into work after doing all the snow plowing. And he says, like a disaster out there.
Well, you want me to do... This is how I really do it.
How would it sound, Vinny?
Okay.
Finally, show me, impress
so you're
me.
You're going to do the weather for
I'm
us?
going to do the weather how I do it on the AM station, because these guys... Because I listened to the feedback... I listened to the podcast after they sat there and they talked to me, and they really put me down, man. They really dogged me out. And then I'm starting a podcast in 3 weeks, and then they put that down. So this is what I do. This is what I did on the radio that day.
Hit me with the weather report. Hit me
up. Is this turned up?
Yeah, give it to me.
I don't want it to be too loud, so you might want to pot it down just a little bit. And just for everybody out there, I'm not a complete idiot. I am high maintenance, but just give me a chance, and I promise you, we'll go places. Are you ready for this?
Ready.
Here it goes.
When news breaks in the tri-state area or the world, you'll hear it here.
AM 1160 WCXI, I'm Vinny Stubbs with a look at your CXI weather forecast. Today, snow, and more snow. Total accumulation of 5 inches. That's smaller than John Macaroon, high of 35. Here's the kicker. We're getting more snow tonight, and it's going to be windy, like this room when I rip ass. Thursday, more snow and more wind, high of 30. Finally, Friday, partly sunny and 28. Look, we're getting a foot of snow. Stay in the house, try your hard. Keep your sanity. I'm Vinny Stubbs, AM 1160 WCXI. John.
If you ever call me again and throw me under the bus, I'm going to rip your testicles off and throw them in the ceiling fan.
You know that you just turned on your mic for a little
I heard it. You son of a bitch. Oh, my God. Podomatic, Stitcher, Podbay, iTunes, FeedBurner, DetroitSportsNation.com, DetroitSportsPodcast.com. When we come back, we'll have pros and cons and length or girth, Motor City Sports Rant, DetroitSportsPodcast.com.
Oh, I love doing this podcast with you guys. I love pushing the buttons and learning about this mixer. Oh, that's fun. All right. You've been listening to the great hijinks and hilarity on the Motor City Sports Rant, a fun podcast we do each and every week, comes out every Tuesday. To continue to support us here on the Detroit Sports Podcast Network, please visit our website, DetroitSportsPodcast.com. It's the hub of our operation. It's where you can find all the podcasts, all the great deals. We're rolling out 6 to 7 weekly shows. Everybody's now contacting us, trying to get on the network. I'd love to give an opportunity to anybody who's passionate enough to want to do this week in, week out, like we've done here on the network. So help us to continue to grow. Help us to continue to provide great Detroit sports content. Visit our website, DetroitSportsPodcast.com. It's a hub of our operation. Thank you for all the great support. It doesn't go unnoticed here at the network. And now back to Jarvi and Stubbs on the Motor City Sports Rant, Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Motor City Sports Rant, DetroitSportsPodcast.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time. Jason the King Jarvi, are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready. Pros
and cons. Oh, my goodness gracious. My pros. Let's see. The Detroit Red Wings finally won a shootout. Granted, it was against Columbus, but they finally won a damn shootout. And they beat the Colorado Avalanche, which was just spectacular. Jason the King Jarvi, your pro.
My pro this week is Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris has been just a godsend for the Pistons. I wish they would have signed him during free agency last year. But now that he's here, I'm very glad he's here because he's a shooter. I think he's going to be a big piece for this team because you're going to have Tobias Harris, Reggie Jackson, Andre Drummond, KCP. I think you need 1 or 2 more secondary pieces, then we're good.
And that's what my con is. Donatas Montezuma and Marcus Thornton would have been a great addition. I mean, I know that the guy only averages 5.5 points per game, but Marcus Thornton got 10 points per game. And their defense would have been better, and they would have scored, on average, probably 14 more points a game. So that's my con, is Donatas Montezuma is back. You son of a bitch. And then we had to pick up Joel Anthony back up from Philadelphia. That's a lose-lose. Your con, Jason the King Jarvi.
My con is NFL prospect, defensive lineman Chris Jones. He ran his 40 at the NFL Combine, and he fell. And his twig and berries came out.
Oh my God!
His whole package came out. It was
John, I'm going to kick your ass.
It was scary. I want to show it to you. Have you seen it, Vinny?
No, show me it.
I want to show it. I want to get your live reaction to
Please show it to me right now.
All right, here we go.
Let's see his testing.
It's there we go.
Okay.
So for those who didn't see it,
He's
what
in a
happened?
stance. He's in a stance.
In the
He's
stance.
running.
Going for his 40.
And
Just
he
wait.
gets it at your phone shut off. Did your
My
phone
phone
just die?
just died.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's sad.
Well, look at his testicles another time.
Dude, it was,
Were they
it
big?
was scary. Like, it's funny, he falls down, and then they kind of go to the end of the track that they're running.
Right.
And as he gets up, you see, like, the shadow of it.
Damn it!
And it's so scary.
I would have paid.
We'll show it
see
to you
his
at the end of
testicles.
this.
I gotta check it out.
We're
Are you
too
ready?
busy watching Stupid Monday
Why
Night Raw.
do you watch wrestling? You're 36 years old, you son of a bitch!
Okay, what's your complaint? What's
Is
your
that
issue?
the guy from Foo Fighters?
That's Jeff Hardy.
Oh, I thought it was the guy
They
from Foo
don't-
Fighters.
there's no good
That guy. Foo Fighters, right?
That's Edge.
Oh.
Wow, I know this. Wrestling hasn't been cool since 2001 when WCW got bought out. There's no good talent. There's no good acting. It's all soap operas, and I hope Shane McMahon does something with it, but I think it's staged. It's over.
Shane O'Mac.
These guys come out now. They got real names. They come out with like real, like up-to-date metal music with Twitter
How do you know
handles.
Yeah,
that?
let's give it up for Daniel Bryan.
Like, that guy's that guy's out of like what a reject,
Yes,
dude. Like, get a
yes.
life.
How do you know that Shane McMahon came back then?
Because it was in Detroit and it was on the top trends on my Facebook page. Let's do length or girth and get the hell out of here.
Listen, no, give me 1 second to defend myself. 1.4 million people or so subscribe to the WWE Network. It's been around for
Yeah, and
ages.
1.4 million
The
of them are under
world's
20 years
wrestling
old.
entertainment programming is unbelievable. If you were a fan growing up, it's not that
You're
easy just
probably
let it
also
go.
a NASCAR fan.
I came in and out with wrestling as the stars have come in and out.
Yeah.
But I'm a fan. I love it. And don't hate me because I
Doing
do.
so good. Check the Nielsen ratings. Time for length or girth. Is this turned up? You ready to do this? Let's go. Jason the King Jarvi. I know you're excited. He's excited. I'm excited. You guys got
So
both length
excited.
and girth. I have neither. Let's knock this out. Don't look at WWF when I'm talking, Jason. You're better than that. Question number 1. The Detroit Red Wings winning in shootouts. Length or girth?
I'm gonna go girth because they just can't do it. I don't get it. It makes no sense. I don't think Jeff Blashill puts out the right guys for length for the shootouts.
Like Brad Richards. Come on.
He doesn't put the guys out who actually are gonna do something.
That son of a bitch. I
So
agree.
girth.
Girth. Question number 2. Anibal Sanchez, 10-10 last year with the ERA just south of 5. Every time he throws, his arm falls off. I'm scared, John's scared, and you're scared. I can see it in your eyes. Even though I'm not looking at you, stop looking at wrestling. Anibal Sanchez staying healthy, length or girth?
I'm gonna say length because that's what I hope for. So that's what. There's really no reason behind it because he probably isn't gonna get injured at some point. But I'm gonna hope for length
Right.
and expect girth.
What the hell is so funny over there?
I am actually networking with the Jock regarding our podcast while listening to your great show.
Why does the jock call in?
You want to call him? You
Yeah.
can call him. What do you
The
want to talk
show's
about?
over. It's
I don't know.
9:30. It's time for me to go to bed. You can call him if you want to.
Call him next week.
Can't believe I
Okay.
spilled beer all over that girl in the Red Wings.
Timestamp it. We're gonna
Shoot.
call
The
the
Jock.
jock.
Hate
The
Ottawa.
jock next week.
Next
Next week.
Okay, we'll call him up.
Question number 3. Who did we play today? The Moccasins.
Moccasins.
The Moccasins. Justin Upton bad at second. Is that going to last? Length or girth?
It is gonna last.
Why? Now I'm watching wrestling.
Because where else is he gonna hit?
I don't know.
Who else would you hit number 2? I mean, I think maybe,
Omar Infante? Oh, wait. I thought Ian Kinsler was in a bad second, to be honest with you.
Who hits first? Ghosts.
Cameron Maybin's starting over him. That's what it says on the depth chart. Could be wrong, could be right. Who knows?
I don't understand why they wouldn't do like let Kinsler be your leadoff. Do Kinsler, Upton, and then go into the big boys.
Do you still want to just beat the hell out of Martin Mayhew for no reason?
Yes, I do.
I do too. I'm going to go ahead and say that, I'm going to say, wow, I don't know. It's up in the air. I'm going to say girth. Ian Kinsler's going to be batting second. And if his average doesn't get back up to around 280, then I'm just going to lose my mind.
Abrupt end to music.
Yeah, well, that just does it for length or girth, seriously. We did an excellent job. I'd like to commend myself.
Good
Number
job,
1.
Vinny.
And Jason the King Jarvi.
Everybody gets a round of applause.
Even John Macri.
Except
Stop
John.
watching wrestling.
Because he's watching guys with makeup.
Right.
And some mom who's
Edge
on there.
just came out, dude. Edge versus Jeff Hardy.
Is this real
That's
right
the
now?
guy from Foo Fighters.
There's Chavo Guerrero. He used to play in WCW as a luchador. That's when wrestling was sweet. Now wrestling sucks. All right, so Kendall's in Florida. That's great. Mark Mayhew's fired. That's terrific. And I just want to see Brad Osmus fired because they got a lot of talent, and I still see him just winning like about 84 games. But they could creep into the wild card spot. I'm Vinny Stubbs. That's Jason the King Jarvi. To my left is John the Phone Macaroon. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said before, we come out every Tuesday about 10 a.m. on DetroitSportsPodcast.com. This has been the Motor City Sports Rant, DetroitSportsPodcast.com.
Okay, nice, idiot. You. Bye-bye.
Good day, sir. I said good day.
All right. Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Loser.